What's going on, everyone? So the New York Knicks have made Immanuel Quickley available for trades, and it looks like they are seeking a first-round pick. Now, I don't know if they will get a first-round pick for Quickley. He's not having a great season. He's averaging about 9 points a game on just under 37% shooting. So that is not, ideal. But he is very young, right? He's 23 years old, 6'2" height. He's extremely fast without the ball, you name it. And a big question that I wanted to ask and get all of your opinions on is, should the Lakers take a look at trying to acquire Quickley? Now, maybe you could take and package, Kendrick Nunn, Patrick Beverley, and go get Quickley and some other pieces. Maybe you could just take Kendrick Nunn, maybe go try to flip him. I don't like the idea personally of giving up a first round pick for just Quickley. But if maybe you could get Immanuel Quickley, who again, 23 years old, he's young. Maybe he could thrive in the fast-paced system that we need to run with the Lakers, right? With all the young guys, having another guy like Quickley, who much like Russ can just get out and go. Obviously, Quickley's not as refined and isn't the veteran and just the talent that Russell Westbrook is, but who knows what he could develop into, and maybe having Russell Westbrook as this sort of mentor could really help in a positive way and kind of get him into a more fluid position. Not just that, but he's young enough to where he could potentially be the point guard for the future, right? He's a guy that's proven he could play in this league. He's had some big moments, some big games. He's shown some real promise. For example, against OKC, he put up 18 points on 6 of 8 shooting, had 3 rebounds, 4 assists. A solid game. He has his good moments, he has his bad moments. He's still young. He's still trying to work it out. It's his third year in the league, so it's gonna take some time. But for his career, he's around a 40% shooter. 11 points per game, 3 assists, 3 rebounds. So he's a guy that has and just kind of bleeds potential. But again, I don't believe personally he's worth a first round pick, and I don't see many teams probably trying to acquire him for a first round pick. Maybe some team is kind of maybe they have some, less favorable, late draft pick that they'd be willing to give up or something. But, I don't see a lottery team giving up, a pick like this. Although he was, the 25th pick in the first round in 2020. So it's not like he was a lottery pick or anything like that. So maybe the Knicks are looking at it as hey, if we can get any first round pick, maybe we can get some player that can come in and help. Something like that. Maybe you could see something like that. Maybe they would be interested in a Kendrick Nunn, more of a veteran guy. Could play on the ball, off the ball, shoot a little bit better. He was in a terrible slump to begin the season, but he's kind of came out of his shell. So maybe you could kind of talk the Knicks into something like that. But it's got to be more than just Quickley, especially if you're giving up a first, at least in my opinion. I just think you could probably get better for the first, but maybe you could look at a Cam Reddish. Cam Reddish was almost already traded to the Lakers in a 3-team deal until the deal fell apart, not on the Lakers end, but on the other end. And so between the Raptors, the Knicks, and the Lakers, the Knicks, they wanted more assets, and then the whole deal just kind of fell through. I don't know if the Knicks would really trade Cam Reddish anymore. I know that they really wanted to for some time, and they were basically trying to just get rid of him in many cases. They did want a first-round pick for Cam Reddish as well, but clearly he's not getting that. He has played better for New York this season. He's had some pretty solid games. He had a 26-point game on 10 of 17 shooting. He's shooting around 45% from the field and averaging about 9 points a game. But again, another young asset, 3-and-D style that I really believe could really make some noise in the NBA if given the proper opportunity. He's got good size, good length, can play the power forward, small forward position. Again, 23 years old. So this is a guy that I just think, if given the proper play time, can really be a stand. I think he could be another, Walker for us, and just be a real standout guy. Now, I mean, if you could get Quickley and you can get Cam Reddish, maybe now you're in the conversation for giving up a first round pick, because you get a young point guard for now and maybe the future. If you really like him, he probably has some trade value. And then you're also getting Cam Reddish, who is a huge need for the Lakers right now, right? A sizable wing that can defend multiple positions, 3-and-D style wing, which would be really nice. But in general, it's two guys that you could have for the long haul that are young enough to kind of be here even after, you would have drafted those picks, right? Because your goal when you're drafting the picks is to get hopefully like a 6'8" small forward with upside like a Cam Reddish, right? Or go get a point guard that you could grow and develop into Quickley, right? Like two guys that you could hopefully develop and turn into like a legit player and rotation guy, and maybe even potentially like a solid, maybe all-star level, something like that. And, with him, Max Christie, maybe keep Walker, hopefully, Austin Reeves, right? You start putting together this young core for the future. I don't mind that. I don't mind looking and going that approach. Plus, you'd be trading, because at this point, you'd have to give up Beverly Nunn at least. And so now you're basically giving up 2 point guards for a point guard and a small forward, and you're giving up a first round pick. I don't know. I think it's definitely something that would be that you would have to entertain, right? Because again, you're getting a valuable asset. The other thing is then maybe what you could do to kind of incentivize the Knicks, if you wanted, would be to take like Evan Fournier. Although Evan Fournier is having a rough season, he still could be a player that the Lakers could really use, right? I mean, he's a guy that, again, could play small forward, could play shooting guard, is more of a traditional shooting guard. This is a guy that has a career stats of, 14 points per game, 14, 15 points a game, shoots, about 45%, but he's had better years. He's had good years, but this year has just been really rough for him. He's shooting 34.4% from the field in general, and is only averaging 7 points in 20 minutes. But he is a guy that we know has played well in the past. He is a guy that has had good seasons, and maybe a change of scenery, maybe playing next to LeBron and Davis, having those guys that could draw that attention, get him better open looks. Maybe he's a guy that can knock him down. I mean, he is 38% from three for his career. So he is a guy that we know can shoot the three ball, right? So hopefully, maybe if you get him in, he's kind of, like the Joe Harris type contract, the Buddy Hield type contract. Maybe that would incentivize the Knicks to unload Quickley and Cam Reddish. And then you could work out to get all three, where you get, Evan Fournier, Cam Reddish, and you get Immanuel Quickley. And it's like, well, we're clearing off, basically $40 million and cap space for Evan Fournier next year and this year. We're also, giving you a first round pick. You take the issue is, and this is where the problem would lie, is now one, you wouldn't be able to give up Russ because you'd have to take on more. So you'd have to do this deal without Russell Westbrook. So the problem would lie is you would have to give up essentially 4 guys, right? So you'd have to give up Beverly Nunn, likely Damian Jones. So there's 3, and then you'd have to add in like maybe a JTA, right? And then that would give you enough money to get there, to get all 3 of these guys, because Fournier is making about 18 and some change. Cam Reddish is making just under like $6 million, and then Quickley is making just under $3 million. So collectively, they're making about $26 million, a little over. So you need to get to about $22 million. And with, Beverly Nunn, Damian Jones, and like a JTA, that would get you where you need to be to make the 125% rule, right? So, because with Damian Jones, Beverly, and Nunn, those 3 together, you're about 500,000 short from being able to actually make this deal. So you'd have to give up another player, and I think JTA would be the most expendable, in my opinion. I think he's a guy that you could unload, especially you're replacing him with Cam Reddish. Also, that would free up a roster spot for the Lakers. And you could waive, and if you wanted to, you could waive Matt Ryan, and now you have 2 roster spots. So if you did want to make a big Russell Westbrook deal with the other firsts, then now you could do that, and you could take on 3 players if you wanted to, and just waive Matt Ryan. You have the slot for Russ, you have what was Matt Ryan's spot, and then you have the roster spot that you freed up in this Knicks deal. So it could even have future benefits beyond just doing this deal. Now you get 3 rotation guys. Hopefully Quickley can come in and contribute. I mean, even if he's only giving you 9 points a game, he's giving you more than Patrick Beverley, right? He's more productive than Patrick Beverley. Cam Reddish and Evan Fournier are going to be more productive than Damian Jones, who isn't playing, is completely out of the rotation. JTA, who hasn't really done anything for us, and Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn is starting to get out of his shell, but is he really fully out of his shell? I don't know. And at least this way you get 3 guys that can come in and at least be contributor level guys. You get 2 guys that can actually be starters. Like, you could have a starting 5 of like Walker, Fournier, Cam Reddish, LeBron, and Davis, right? And now you got some length, you got some size, you got some switchability, you got some shooting, you got a lot of things that add some flexibility. You got Quickley. Although I will say, if you do trade for Quickley, you can make an argument Russ is expendable now, because you can't really play Quickley and Russ on the court together, in my opinion. They're kind of the same player in many ways. Obviously, Russ is much greater, but, you would have your another first round pick, and you'd have other assets, second rounds, pick swap, stuff like that, where you could take Russell Westbrook, and then maybe you go look at a Hornets deal. Maybe you go look at, a Spurs deal or something like that. And now you do that roster rehaul. That could be something that the Lakers could look into. Maybe I'll even do a video kind of exploring different possibilities with these 3, with like a Knicks and maybe Hornets, and then maybe we'll do a Knicks and a Spurs deal. Just have some fun exploring some different possibilities, some different trades out there. But I mean, I wouldn't be against this. Like, if the Lakers did this deal, if the Lakers got Fournier, Reddish, and Quickley and gave up a first, JTA, Damian Jones, Patrick Beverley, and Kendrick Nunn, I wouldn't be against it at all. I would be all for it. The Knicks would likely probably waive JTA. Maybe they keep Damian Jones just as another big. Maybe he'll be better for the Knicks than he was for the Lakers. I mean, he was really good for Sacramento. So maybe he can kind of just have a better spot in New York, and maybe be utilized better in New York, and maybe he could have some success there. And then you got a really good contract in his case. Because that was the idea. Like, man, Damian Jones was great for Sacramento. We're getting him for, a vet minimum. Like, that is value there. But he just hasn't been able to play and replicate what he did with Sacramento. Maybe it's a Laker thing. And maybe if he goes to a team like the Knicks, where there's not as much pressure, there's not other bigs that he's really competing with to the level of like an Anthony Davis, And so, maybe he could earn some real minutes, some real rotation minutes, and be more productive. If Kendrick Nunn can kind of get back to being Kendrick Nunn, that could be a huge asset for New York. Like, that could really be beneficial. Some people are going to say, why would they want these guys? They don't. They want the assets. They want the pick. They want to free up spots for some of the other guys. They might end up just waiving everybody. You know what I mean? They might just say, okay, we'll take those guys and just get rid of everybody. Maybe keep a piece or 2. It's the same reason, that they wanted to take on Russ, and there were conversations about them taking on Russ, was just to free up spots for some of their other guys and let some of their young guys kind of go in that direction. Also free up some cap space, stuff like that. The Lakers would solve that. You free up some of your guys. Yeah, it gets some players that we really need. Cam Reddish was almost a Laker already. We're doing them a favor by taking on Evan Fournier, especially with as poorly as he's played. They'd probably be thankful to get rid of him. Clear off some cap space. You get another asset to add to your treasure chest. I don't think it would be the worst deal in the world for the Knicks. Will this happen? I don't know. Probably not. But, I wouldn't be shocked. I don't see a bunch of people lining up to trade a first-round pick for Immanuel Quickley. I don't. Again, maybe like a late pick or something, or maybe, somebody that has like a bunch of first-round picks. Maybe they look at it. Maybe Utah looks at it and goes, hey, maybe we take a flyer on them and give them like one of our least favorable draft picks, because we just have like a treasure trove of assets. Maybe something like that. I could see something like that happening, maybe. But in general, like, if you're the Knicks, is a late draft pick better than a risk of getting maybe a potential lottery pick in 2027? That's something to think about too if you're the Knicks. But anyway, just a thought. just something that I wanted to bring to all of you and hear your thoughts and opinions. So let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Would you do this? Would you not do it? Would you do it for a first? Would you not do it for a first? Would you do this? Hey, we're taking on Evan Fournier's contract, so no first round pick, maybe a pick swap, couple seconds. I just don't think that would be enough to incentivize the Knicks. I think at that point you're probably better off just keeping these guys. But I don't know. I don't mind the idea of the Lakers using that pick, using one pick to go get two guys that you could have for the next, several years. Because if you're gonna get Camp Reddish and Quickley, you probably have them for the next, 4 to 7 years. So you're already beyond when those draft picks would be used. And your hope in the draft is to maybe draft a young 3-and-D wing and a young, relatively sizable point guard, right? With some quickness and speed, and then develop them under your banner to turn them into like legitimized players. Like that's your goal, that's your hope. Well, might be able to get two of those guys right now. But anyway, again, love to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know. Good, bad, ugly, somewhere between. How you feel down in the comment section below.